Hey guys, it's Amy from Paper Crane Wishes, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made my resin painting that looks like an ocean. I started with this hard wood backing, and I got some shells. I have some beach sand, actually, from a beach I went to, even though I live in the desert. And I had my resin that was ready to go, already pre-stirred. I pre-stirred it with some of that beach sand to create a textured look when I created this. And as you could see, I kind of mixed the resin within it, and this actually gave it, some texture. It looks a little bit sloppy right here, but as we start to work more with the resin, it becomes incorporated. I used multiple different layers of resin, so this painting actually took me 3 different pours because I feel like it adds more structure, more depth, more texture, all of that. So I started with one color, and then I mixed in a light blue next for the next layer of resin. And after that, I just kind of kept putting as much different colors of resin as I could so that we could create that oceany backdrop for the first resin pour that we did. I got out my heat gun and kind of just tried to, like I said, this was the first pour. I was just trying to get it all covered. To make sure that it had its first layer ready to go. Then I put some white drops of opaque alcohol ink, and look at that. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy that for just a little bit. After finishing that first layer of resin, I wait 24 hours and then I get my second layer of resin ready to go. I have some white resin here that I'm kind of just putting on where I would imagine the waves of the ocean to be. And then from here, I add a whole bunch of regular resin, because if you don't add regular resin on top of it, you won't be able to morph the white resin at all to be anything that you want. I used a chopstick here just to kind of add more depth. I liked how I did that, and it really helped create more of like a wave-like effect. And here you go, we're getting all the kind of tiny little details done here as we make sure we get the white where we want to get it. Any sort of extra resin I might have with a blue or a shade that I can kind of use to create the overall effect, I'm going to be using it. I also, even though I'm not doing the twirly whirlies, what I do with the regular alcohol drop of ink, I am still using my heat gun because it still can help me create that wave effect. Anything that I can do to make it feel like it's an ocean wave that just came in and it's going out is something that I'm going to try to incorporate into it. But yeah, lots of tiny little bits of resin that are left that I can use to incorporate into the painting. And I mean, I'm really happy with how it's turned out thus far. So this gives you a little close-up of where it was at after was this the second? This was the second resin pour. And it's got some really great details here. As we zoom in, you can see the swirls, the kind of things that you would expect to see to create that movement, that action. Something I messed up on is I didn't put these little thumbtacks in the back before so that they kind of like hovered over the plastic, because I had some resin issues. So I would recommend using resin tape, and I also would recommend using the thumbnails. I covered the edge in gold before I resined for the third time, because I didn't want it to look super messy. If you use resin tape, which is what I'm going to do in the future, you won't have to necessarily worry about this. And when you're finished, you can just take off the resin tape and paint the side gold, which will look much better. But I decided to paint it gold before I did my final resin layer, as you can see I'm doing here. So this was 3 layers of resin, and I'm really glad that I did 3 layers of resin for many different reasons. And here we were able to take the white, pop it in there, mix it up, and then created some really fun, because with the thin layer of epoxy, or not thin, like sort of a thick layer of epoxy, we're actually able to let those 2 resins dance on each other when we use the heat gun. Obviously, there's some really great ways that you can create an effect with just the alcohol drips like I showed you early on. I also added just a tiny bit of glitter, just a tiny bit of glitter till the end, and just a little bit of some golden treasure. Down there, you gotta add the gold treasure, the treasure. We all like gold. We all like sparkles. Ain't anybody out there who doesn't, and if they say they don't, I think they're lying. So here we're getting the white, and I'm adding as much as I can because I really want to create an awesome air gun effect. So I like how it turned out with the air gun. I do think, you know, it turned out beautiful. I really was impressed. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to this video and hit the notification bell to be notified anytime that I go live or I post another video. I've got tons of resin projects galore ahead, plus tons of live crafting events, so if you'd like to come see those, come swing by. And you guys remember that no matter what anybody says, you are beautiful. See you guys next time. Bye.